Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to July 29th, 2013. We're hosting a special event today, in case you hadn't noticed. That's probably why you're here. It's a toast to Scott Vail, who many of you should know or do know. But I first want to introduce a six-time winner on the PGA Tour, the reigning FedEx Cup champion, and the reigning RBC Canadian Open champion, Mr. Brandt Snedeker. And now our special guest today, who's being hosted by his man Brandt, who is a former Backshop employee, former junior member, and presently the #1 caddy on the planet, Mr. Scott Vail. Couple of presentations that we need to handle right away before we're going to watch Scott hit some balls.
Before and after.
We're going to do a reverse roll. We won't put that pressure on you, Scott. Or right. But if I could please ask Mr. Bill Treemstra, our past president of the club, and Mr. David Mills from the Golf Association of Ontario to please come forward. I'll hand the mic over to Bill. He's got a short announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure, on behalf of all of us, the Oshawa Golf and Curling Club, Scott, to honor you, add you to our wall of fame, and provide you with an honorary membership. Now it's wonderful to see your accomplishments, and welcome home.
Thank you. David Mills from the Golf Association of Ontario.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. Let me start by congratulating Oshawa for everything they do for junior golf. We have introduced a program again this year called Junior Golf Week, and Oshawa has pretty well led the province in terms of their effort at making that program run to raise money for the club and also for junior golf at the provincial level. So thank you for that. And congratulations on a pretty good win yesterday, right? I think anybody in Canada knows that one of our goals is to have a Canadian win the event. And I heard Brent on TV over the weekend said he felt half Canadian this week. So I think with Scott being full Canadian, that's 1.5. So a great win. One of the things we have at the Golf Association of Ontario is known as a wall of recognition. And it's an opportunity for us to recognize individuals who have roots in Ontario and have made significant contributions to the game, significant accomplishments in the game. They could be players, they could be builders, they could be administrators, and they could be caddies. And in fact, this is the first opportunity for us to recognize somebody who has made their accomplishments as a caddy. And I think if you take a look at what Scott has done, starting with his days here at Oshawa in junior golf, playing in what was then the Ontario Golf Association junior programs, hopefully all of that gave him some of the inspiration to go on and be involved in golf and to take up the role of caddy. And I think it's safe to say that when you're caddying for one of the best players in the world, who's consistently ranked in the top 10, playing and caddying in all of the major championships around the world, traveling the world, and obviously succeeding as we've seen this weekend, it's very clear that Scott deserves to be on the wall of recognition at the Golf Association of Ontario. Today, I'm very pleased to present Scott with a memento of that achievement, and wish him and Brent all the best for the rest of the season and future years.
Thank you.
A real role reversal here. Well, congratulations, Scott and Brandt as well. I think kind of what everybody is here hoping to see is Brandt hit some balls, and let's talk a little bit about the program. You know, as you get to a tournament, you're probably like the rest of us. You show up 15 minutes before your tee time. You rush to get a coffee. You come in to book a couple times for the rest of the week.
Scott, you can groups this morning? But yeah, this is obviously first and foremost. Thanks for having me today. This is a lot of fun to be up here. I'm gonna make Scott do some talking today because I know he absolutely hates everything that's going on right now. He hates it. He feels massively uncomfortable, and I love having this control over it. So
Bingo.
exactly. But obviously feeling still on a high right now for yesterday, so it was great to still be here in Canada, my new favorite place on the planet for this week. So, but I'm going to give you a little idea of kind of what I do to warm up and how I think about what you should do on the golf course and you know, kind of how I get amped up, ready to play, and some stuff that we see in pro-ams all the time. I see Scott do it all the time when he plays, some mistakes that we make, and ways to hopefully fix them. So, you know, I try to, my normal, typical warm-up for a round of golf is I can get there about an hour before I tee off and do a little putting to get some feel going, and then I start warming up. And as you all know, every day feels differently when you're playing. So some days I feel great. Saturday I felt unbelievable, couldn't do anything wrong. Yesterday I couldn't hit a fairway, felt like I didn't know what was going on. So you kind of have to recognize what you have early in the day and kind of feel out, understand what you need to do to kind of counteract that and go out there and play. So a couple basic things that I do that everybody should do every day when you're warming up is just the basic stuff: grip, alignment, posture, that kind of stuff. So simple stuff with grip is you want the V. There's a V formed on your left hand where your thumb and your hand is. This V should always point your right shoulder. The V on your right hand where this thumb and the rest of your hand is should always point your right shoulder as well. Basic grip, really easy to do. However you get your hands on the club, that's how it should always look. So once you do that, some simple stuff that always, you know, your alignment should be a little bit open to your target just about every time. And I like to play a little draw. So my biggest swing thought, easy thing to think about.
Hold it a minute, eh?
That's why I won this week. We won't go to the driver. The driver's not one of the But a key thought, you know, people always talk about how, you know, I've got great rhythm. I don't think a lot about my swing, and it's true. I don't think a lot mechanically. I try to break it down to one key thought, and I think it's what every amateur should do. You should have one thought that you can always go to that can bruise a shot or get you out of whatever you're thinking about. My key thought for me is I try to hit the inside half of the golf ball. So I play a draw. So literally, if I was going to put this ball on the ground, you see how that Bridgestone logo is lined up on the inside part of the ball. I feel like the club needs to come on the inside path and hit that ball. Most amateurs, I'd say 95% of amateurs struggle hitting a big slice, coming over the top. You can stop that by simply trying to do that. That'll help a lot. So that's it. You know, yesterday when I was feeling pressure and had some key shots coming down the stretch, that's all I was thinking about. Just trying to hit the inside part of the golf ball. I didn't try to think about my grip or my stance or make sure the club's a little bit laid off or across the line. I didn't care. All I was trying to do is make sure that club came to the ball a little bit from the inside. That way the ball will start to the right and have a little draw on it. So something as simple as that can make a big difference. Scott can chime in here with some stuff that he sees, knows, stuff he sees out there, and what the big difference is from amateur golf to pro golf.
I think typically when we watch amateurs play in pro-am, a lot of them under club and always come up short. I think that's a common theme, and Brandt would agree with me on that one. That we, you know, guys want to hit it further than they actually do, and a lot of people short side themselves. I guess that's easier said than done. I mean, when you're in control of your golf swing, I'm always watching Brandt, and he doesn't short side himself very often. You know, you see amateurs do that. You're basically just trying to get yourself the best way to make par, to have a good round.
And so typically when I'm warming up and what I'm going through here is a abbreviated warm up, but I'm going start with my wedges, trying to get a feel for how the club's going. I'll go to a 9-iron, maybe a 6-iron, maybe a hybrid in the driver. Try to work through and see what rhythm feels like, see what ball flight's doing, and then get a good idea of what I'm going to have to do that day. Some days I'm hitting a little cut, some days I'm hitting a little draw. I don't try to fix it on the range before I go play, because there's no point. I don't have enough time to fix it, so I just kind of go with what I got for the day. And as you warm up, another thing I try to do when I warm up is rhythm. Make sure I'm not swinging too quick at it. I've got a fast rhythm, a fast tempo to my swing, but it doesn't mean I try not to hurry it. So I still try to take some time. If anything in the warm up, I swing a little slower than I do on the golf course, make sure I can kind of feel where the club is. And the general rule, a great tip that I got from a guy named Mason Rudolph, who played on tour for a long time, back in the 50s and 60s, was on the way back, take it back even slower than you think you need to, because you're not trying to hit anything on the way back. Doesn't matter. On the way back, you're trying to get the club in position to hit on the way down. So typically when I get really, really off, I go back to something as simple as that. Try to take it back a little bit slower, realize I'm not trying to hit anything on the way back. I'm just trying to get in a position where I can go ahead and hit it from there. So and another good thing that most people don't realize is tour pros, we swing typically about 80%, 85%. We don't try to hit it 100%.
Sorry, I'll get this ball.
No, you're all right. Don't worry about it. You're good. No, you're all right. We don't make you hit one here.
No, we are not.
So typically, tour pros, we're swinging about 80-85%. We never try to hit anything hard, unless we're on a par 5 and we need an extra 10 yards or something like that. Most amateurs swing out of the shoes every swing all day long. Doesn't do you any good. You actually hit it shorter, because you miss hitting it and your body gets out of sync and the club didn't swing very fast. So, 80-85% is really all you need to swing. The ball's going to go just as far, probably even go further, because everything will be in sync. And when I talk about in sync, it means your body, your hands, your body, your arms, your legs are all working together. Whereas if you swing really hard, a lot of times your arms work out of sync with your body, actually slows you down. So something as simple as 85%.
You're so hot now.
No. And another thing that most people don't realize is and Scott can attest to this, is the reason why we play really good. Seems like best players in the world play really good. It's not because we hit it really good. Scott can attest to it. There's weeks where I can't find the planet. I don't know where it's going, because our short game's really good. Day in and day out, our wedge game, our chipping, our putting is pretty good. We get out of jail a lot. And if you see me yesterday, I hit one in the trees on 12 and a 4-iron. So it shows you we don't always hit it perfect. But our short game's there to bail us out when we do. And that's the big reason why I won this week, was because my short game was phenomenal. I got up and down from bunker a lot, saved par on some key holes when I probably shouldn't have. And Tiger Woods is no different. So if you have an hour to spend practicing, 15 minutes over here and 45 minutes over there, chipping and putting, knowing that you can save shots there a lot quicker.
Scott, when you, as you're going through the round, and if you kind of start to see things coming off the rails a little bit, how do you help Brandt kind of get it back on track? Is there things that you do specifically that help Brandt as an individual, or?
No, that's a good question, Pete. I guess when he's not hitting it his best, we kind of just try to damage control and leave ourselves with the best spots to get up and down, or leave ourselves a putt, hit it to the fat part of the green. Maybe there's days where we won't be as aggressive hitting it into greens, and just trying to, obviously we know the strength of his game, so the idea is for us to get it to the green as quickly as possible, so he has a putt, a putt at birdie. So there's days where we just play a little less aggressive, and days where if we have a good number and he's swinging at it well, that we'll go to we'll be aggressive on the flag.
So other ways, if you want to get fancy and start trying to realize how we work the ball, okay? So turning the ball over, cutting the ball. Let's say you are advanced. Let's say you are scratch or play a lot, and you want to figure out how to hook it or cut it. So for me, it's very simple. You kind of do it with your alignment, your setup. And I'm a very visual guy, so I think of baseball, I think of anything you want to think of, any other sport you can think of to do it. So if I'm going to hit a draw, let's say we're going to hit a draw this yellow pin, I'm going to line up probably over the red pin. I'm going to think of trying to hit a ball from away from the inside, sorting the ball way out to the right, and kind of get a visual of my right arm doing that. So for me to hit a draw, my right arm has to be come from inside out, kind of a top spin lob in tennis. Kind of put some hook spin on the ball and going like that. So I set up a little bit more closed, more to that yellow pin with the draw. Setting up more at the right pin. You can even toe the toe of the putter, toe of the 7-iron in a little bit of dress. Try to feel like you're swinging more on your body line, so more inside to out. And that ball should start out to the right and draw if you let your hands release it. And then to do the other one, just do the opposite. So if I'm going to cut one to that pin, I'm going to line up at this other red flag here on the left, open up my stance, my shoulders, everything. Have the club face a little open at address. I'm going to swing more outside to in. So more outside the path, on my body line, cutting across this way. And that should, keep a fade on it and put it in that pin. So try to do it with my setup, not with my hands. Let the path kind of create that. Now, questions, stuff that y'all want to know really goes on the golf course, what we really talk about. Has nothing to do with golf. So feel free to ask anything. We're here to answer questions. Yes?
When you hit that shot on 12 into the, you saw Lingmer hit his shot.
Yeah.
Did that make you decide to hit the ball, or were you thinking about taking an unplayable or any time?
No, the question is on 12 yesterday, I hit the trees, and was I ever thinking about taking an unplayable? I saw David, let's play with David Lingmer, he hit in there as well, and he had a tough time getting it out. Actually, Scott's best work yesterday was on that hole. There's a big log behind our ball, and there was a crack in it. Couldn't really see it, I didn't notice it. The log was all damp, so it was going to break apart when we moved it. Scott had the foresight to say, hey man, when you move this log, that top part's going to break off, and it's going to roll down and hit your ball. I wasn't paying attention, I always moved it, and so we had to pull ball operation. The game we played when we were 6 years old, and did an unbelievable job of moving that log. Ball did move, thank God, and was able to kind of hack it out from there and make a great bogey. And that was kind of the turning point of the tournament.
But to answer your question, no. I mean, what Dave did and what we did, we don't worry about anybody else on the golf course. We're playing the golf course, and that's it. And you can't control what other people are doing out there, the other players. In fact, Brandt doesn't even look at leaderboards on the weekend. Mm-hmm. He had no idea he was 3 shots up, and he had that little tap in on the last one. He came up to me and said, "You could have at least told me we had a 3-shot lead." I'm grinding it out here, and you know we're 3 up. You don't say anything.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was sweating. I lost probably 2 pounds on 18. It's like a little heads up would be nice. I might do this a little differently.
We've done that before, and it doesn't work.
Yes.
What do you do to keep yourself sort of saturated with energy on the course? Do you take a little bit of food out?
Yeah, always. Scott's a great. He's my kind of my I don't know how to put it. He's my chef. My
Mother.
My mother for the day, I guess. Is the best way to put it. He packs my lunch, so I do a peanut butter and jelly every day.
I don't think he ate his lunch yesterday.
I think it's
I kept telling him to eat it. He just didn't want it. We can auction that off later, can't we?
It's still good.
Get a couple $100 for it.
But I try to eat some bars or a banana or something to keep me going today. 'Cause you definitely do lose some energy out there coming down the stretch. Yesterday was kind of an easy day because I was amped up the whole day. I didn't have to worry about keeping my energy up. But during you just don't realize it. You're losing a lot of calories, losing a lot of energy out there on the golf course.
Robert, go ahead.
Brent, yesterday I noticed on 15, before you putted, it's kind of a long bowling angle. What's that all about?
Yeah, it's I try in putting, probably one of my strengths, or definitely is my strength. I try to keep putting really simple. So when I'm trying to get the speed of a putt, I imagine rolling a golf ball or a ball, you can do a long ball, whatever you want to think of. That's a great way to help you feel how hard you need to hit it. So I mean, I'll literally get behind a putt, kind of do this, and see how the ball's rolling in my mind, seeing how hard I want to hit it. It gives me a great visual of what the ball's going to do breaking wise. Also gives me a good visual of how hard I need to hit it. Feeling like I'm rolling a ball. I'm doing the same motion when I'm putting too. I mean, I'm just staying to the side. It's going to be the same motion. So it gives me a good way to kind of release tension and get into how hard I want to hit it. You know, when I'm putting, I'm very visual. I'm not worried about anything around the golf ball. I'm worried about where the ball is going, where it's going in the hole. Don't worry about my stroke. Don't worry about anything like that. Just trying to worry about the path I want to get the ball started on and how hard I want to hit it and seeing it go in the hole.
You play very fast. It's noticed
Yes.
on the commentators make a point of it on television how quickly you set up on the ball, how quickly you strike it, and you're gone. We watch pro golfers, or all the time, take forever to take a shot. What's
Yeah.
your opinion on you?
You know, the reason why I play fast and I hit it is because I'm a kind of a jumpy guy to begin with. And the longer I stay over it, the more negative stuff comes in my mind. So the more I start thinking about, wait a second, I don't want to hit it over there. I know I don't want to hit it over there. Oh, there's water there. I didn't realize that. Yeah, and you start thinking all this negative stuff coming in your mind. So for me, when I have a clear thought of what I want to do, I want to hit it as quick as possible. You know, I've hit 10 billion golf balls in my lifetime. I don't need to take another 10 seconds to figure out how to hit this thing. I know how to hit it. So go ahead and get it over with before you start thinking of something stupid. And I think most guys on tour fall into that trap. Most guys take way too much time. They start thinking about all this mundane stuff and all this stuff you got to do to hit the shot when they don't need to. When they're practicing at home, they don't practice that way. I've never understood it. So when I'm practicing at home, I play the exact same way I practice. I see all these guys that take forever to hit golf balls when they're home practicing. They don't take that much time. So I think it puts too much pressure on it, kind of gets them out of the routine. I think pace of play is a big problem on tour. It's something we're trying to address, but it needs to definitely quicken up.
Even on the green, you
Deal
put
with
fast.
slow play.
I walk slower. He does a great job. Scott, you can probably answer this better than I can.
How does he deal with slow play, or how do we?
Yeah.
Typically we get paired with slow players, and you've got to walk a little bit slower, just slow your pace down, and just realize for the day that you're going to be playing with slow players, and you've got to figure out a way to manage it and not worry about it and not look at them and think about, oh gosh, this is so frustrating watching how slow they are. So you kind of just...
He does a good job of slowing me down. So he'll take longer to get the number, take longer to get the ball, stuff like that, where you don't have a choice but to slow down. So little stuff like
Sometimes
that.
I don't give it an option. I can see him waiting by the bag, like, oh,
Yeah, I
you
get a
gonna
little
come
mad.
over here anytime
Yeah,
soon?
exactly.
And I can see it, but I'm like, he's not gonna say it. He's not gonna say it.
Next question, Robert.
Yes, Brent, what can you tell the younger players here that can make them a great golfer rather than a really good golfer? What's the difference between someone who's really good at the game and someone who can get to the PGA level?
First of all, it's belief. You got to believe in what you're doing. You got to have an unquestionable desire to do what you want to do. I mean, I never had a doubt in my mind to be on a PGA Tour from 6 years old. It's all I've ever wanted to do. It's all I've worked at doing. I sacrificed a lot to get to where I am. You know, there's no shortcut. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of being on a golf course, beating balls, and chipping and putting. I think the biggest thing for me that I see today, with all the juniors growing up, is the guys that make it on tour are the guys that think really well and have great short games. I can go show you a bunch of guys that hit the ball like robots, like machines. So it's unbelievable. They're not playing on tour, selling insurance. So the reason why I'm on tour and I've played well is because I think really well, got a great short game, and can't teach that. You know, you just got to go out there and do it.
You can also keep your cool when things aren't going too well.
That goes into thinking well. You know, I mean, I love seeing guys throw clubs, lose their temper, because I know I don't have to worry about beating them. They're going to beat themselves. So it's amazing. You know, I learned a lot last year playing with Tiger, the British Open. He had got a really horrible break on Sunday. He ended up losing the British Open last year because of that break, pretty much. And watching his demeanor walking on the next hole was unbelievable. You would have thought he just made an eagle on the hole before, not a triple bogey, and lost the tournament. It's just how good his mind is, how good he thinks, how good he forgets about shots. and moves on to the next one. That's the biggest difference. You know, I've gone from 50th in the world to top 10, or up to 3 or 4, whatever I am, 5, somewhere in there. Sure, because of the way I think. It has nothing to do with the way I'm hitting the golf ball or what I'm doing. It has to do with the way I think on the golf course. How quickly I let stuff go, how quickly I get back in the present.
And you got a good caddy too, right?
He helps. He makes a big difference. You know, it is saying a couple.
Speaking of caddies, I got a question for Scotty.
Perfect.
Do you still keep Brent calm and cool and collected by talking about hockey and baseball and football and everything but golf?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we talked about, that's why Brant and I get along so well, is we have common interests, you know, and similar personalities that is important for a player-caddy relationship, you know, whether we're both sports junkies, you know, I try to get him involved in my beloved Leafs, and he's just not biting. He says every year you say they're going to be good, and I said, no, this is the year. I actually believe it. Next year is the year.
This year he was close. It was tough. It was tough to watch.
He didn't call me for a couple weeks. He just texted and said, sorry. After that,
There's nothing else to say. It was brutal to watch.
even he got into that one a little bit.
I did.
Yeah.
I felt bad.
Bruce?
Brent, how do you pick your schedule for the year?
Schedule for the year. It's I've learned now. This is my 7th year on tour, I think, or 6th year on tour, to go play places that set up well for me. So I'm not a bomber. You know, I don't like. Luckily this year, Angus Glen's set up absolutely perfect for me. It's not a long golf course. Greens there are very small, but they're Poana greens, which I love. So I try to play golf courses that really set up well for me. So courses. My typical golf course is a traditional golf course. It's not overly long. Greens are really firm and fast. Some deep rough off the tee or rough off the tee. Kind of evens out the field. So try to play places like that. Just because I know over the course of a 20-year career, I'm going to win in a place like Angus Glen, Glen Abbey, way more than I will if I went to play, say, Bay Hill, for instance, where it's a big, long golf course and stuff like that. So try to pick my turn space on what sets up well for me.
That's what Tiger does so well. You see Tiger wins the same tournaments every year. He's won, you know, he wins at Bridgestone, he wins at Torrey, he wins at Bay Hill. He has an uncanny knack of, four left.
4 left.
I'm not looking. I'm tired of seeing it. But Tiger, you know, Tiger sets up his game to play those courses that he plays really well. And that's what he does. I mean, most of his wins are all on the same golf courses.
Peter? Zachary?
Question for both of you guys. Just back on the whole pace of play theme. What are your thoughts of starting to allow laser or other kind of yardage distance calculations?
No, because I won't have a job. No. No, I think it takes away, me personally, the tradition of the game. At this level, I don't think it should be allowed. I don't know what Brandt thinks about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. You know,
Oh, lovely.
I think anything that helps pace of play is a good thing. I think lasers are inevitably going to happen just because it just saves a lot of time. You know, I mean, he's still going to have to walk the golf course. He's still going to have to do a bunch of stuff, but those 3 times around when you're not near sprinkler head, it's taking you 10 minutes to go find a sprinkler head and get the yardage. It's pointless. We're going to get the right yardage. It's going to happen. You know, I mean, so why not help us out and kind of get us into it a little quicker?
All right.
Yeah, I got one. I see you got the drive route, and on
Yeah.
14T yesterday, might have been one of the toughest tee shots out there.
Correct.
Did you hit a draw there?
Cut it.
Oh, you cut it on 14.
Cut it on 14. So yesterday I was trying to hit a draw all day and I wasn't. So luckily I realized about on number 10, quit trying to hit a draw. So I got up on, you know, I drove it pretty good on the back nine yesterday, hit some good tee shots, but 14 was tough. But 14 was one I dreaded all week.
Yeah.
As a drawer of the golf ball, I hate that hole. I really don't like it. And because if you don't draw it, you're in the water. And so I got up there yesterday and knowing what the wind was blowing into us, it was a really tough tee shot. But luckily I've been hitting a little cut all day, so I was able to fly down the left side, hit a decent drive right down the middle of the fairway.
And one other one on 17 fairway, the second shot. Like, what took you so long there?
We were kind of, well, I was trying to win the golf tournament. No big deal. You know,
I don't know if you're talking about dinner or what.
we're talking about, you know, that this is a great example of why pros are pros. You know, we're talking about where we want to miss it. You know, where we want to put the ball. You know, because if you don't hit a perfect shot, where's an easy up and down? where do you want to hit on the green, try and place the ball, what clubs, it could have been any one of two different clubs we could have chosen. Obviously we chose the right club now. Took a while to figure that out. And the wind was gusting, it was hard to figure out what the wind was doing. And you don't want to look back, get done with the tournament, look back and think, man, I really rushed that shot. It's such a pivotal hole, 17, if I bogey that hole, all of a sudden, somebody eagles 18, it's a different ball game. So that's why.
Scott Bunker.
Brandt, what are some of the differences between a good caddy and a great caddy?
It's a good question.
Assuming you met one.
So he wants to know what the difference between a good caddy and a great caddy is. The difference is knowing when to shut up.
I don't do that very well.
No, I'm being serious. The difference is knowing when to say something, knowing when not to. That's the hardest thing, is knowing the player, knowing when, hey, I really need to calm down here, or they need to get in there and say something, or they just need to let him go. It's hard to do. Sometimes when he says something, it just drives me crazy. I'm like, I know what I need to do. I don't need you to tell me that I need to do it. But it's good to hear. You need to hear positive reinforcement, and it's tough. It's tough to read a player. I wish I could say I was an easy guy to work for, but I'm not. I wear him out. I'm a hard guy to work for because I expect him to be perfect. And I feel like being a caddy is kind of a thankless job, because you never get any of the credit, because it's always I won yesterday. Scott had nothing to do with it. Here's the fair. But and you get all the blame when you do something wrong. So it's a really tough job to have. And these guys are very underrated because it does make a huge difference. I'd say a good caddy can save you, 2 to 3 shots a week easily. That's just having somebody knowing when to say, knowing when to help you out, knowing doing their homework. And I see guys, rookies on tour right now with bad caddies, and it's just costing them every week.
Rick Baxter.
Hi, Caddy.
Hey, how are you?
What are your last words to Brandt before
I always give him wind direction. That's the last thing I say to him. I don't give him any swing thought or anything like that. I usually just tell him wind direction, and if we're worried about a shot or humming and hawing, I always just give him a positive reinforcement, making sure he knows that it's the perfect club. Whether it's not, at least I'm giving him, sometimes I'm wrong, and sometimes it's not the perfect club, and I think it is. But the last thing he wants to hear before he's hitting his shot is, a little bit of indecision from me. So I try to.
I don't want to hear him go, maybe 6. Maybe 6. How are you going to have
Just hit it really hard.
Yeah. I want to hear a perfect 7. Quit thinking, hit it, it's going to be fine. And he does a great job of making sure the last thing I hear is something positive. Because otherwise, you get any kind of doubt at all, it shows up.
Michael?
Brent, I noticed on the weekend that most of the tour pros hover their driver. Can you talk, because most of us put it right on the ground.
This is something, Jack Nicklaus did this his whole career. It's a great way to kind of work on rhythm. You got to think about this. If this driver's on the ground, I'm going to have to change my grip pressure and my arm pressure to get the thing up, because you're not holding the club in your hands. It's literally the ground's holding your weight. So for me to take it back, I'm going to have to tense up my arms and my hands and take it back. By hovering it, the grip pressure never changes. Grip pressure never changes. Your tension level never changes. So it's a great way to kind of feel the club go back. You also got to realize, being on a tee, you kind of want your swing to be a little bit flatter. So if I've got this, I can pick it up and it's going to get a little steeper. By hovering it, let's kind of take a smoother, lower transition away. It's a good tip that I picked up. It's helped me a little bit. I've done it my whole career, and a lot of guys do that.
Chris Waddick.
Just a question on the mental game.
Yes.
After a bad shot or a bad hole, how do you reset yourself? What do you think about to prepare for the next shot?
Yeah, my whole thought process is I do everything I possibly can to hit that one shot good. The minute that shot's over with, I can do nothing else about it. I walk away from that shot thinking, did everything in the world I possibly could to hit that shot well. Just didn't hit it. Happens. It's going to happen 50% of the time. So for me to hit the next shot well, I've got to do the same process again and just accept it. If you walk away from every shot saying, did everything in the world I possibly could to hit that shot well, I shouldn't pull it off, you should feel okay about it, because you're going to hit bad shots. There's just no way around it. You're seeing me, I just snap up 2 drives. 3 drives here, 8 drives. I'm going to hit bad shots. There's no way around it. So you just need to be willing to accept that and move on. The people that do it the quickest are the people that are the best. It's completely like water on a duck's back. It just rolls right off of them. no concern whatsoever. Next shot's going to be great. You got to have faith. You got to believe that you're going to figure out a way. That's what I tell myself when people ask me whether there's been a difference between me winning with the lead. The last 2 times I had the lead going Sunday, I won. Versus, I think the previous 3 times for that I didn't win. I kind of choked. Because now I believe, I have faith. I just keep telling myself all day, I'm going to find a way to win. I don't know how. It might be ugly. It might be pretty. I don't care. I just know at the end of the day, I'm going to try to do everything I can to get that trophy. It's going to happen. When you believe that, you get a little sense of calmness, a little sense of belief. And I learned that from Arnold Palmer. I talked to him. One of the best things I've ever done in my career is I went down and spent a day with Arnold about 4 years ago, in Orlando. I got such a gracious guy. Called him up. He said, "Yeah, come on down. We'll spend a couple hours together." So I went down and sat in his office and asked him. I said, "Well, how did you handle pressures? You're one of the best pressure players of all time." I mean, he said to hit the shots he did, especially with somebody as aggressive as he was known for. And he sat there and told me, he goes, "Man, I never hit one shot that I didn't think I was going to knock in the hole." Because I hit some awful shots. I hit some really bad shots when the turns were on the line. But every shot I hit, I thought I was going to knock the pin out of the hole. So that's the kind of mindset you got to have. You can't get over a shot going, I think it's going to go in the water. You got to feel it's going to go in the water. It's probably going to go in the water. So you got to think properly.
Stuart Neely?
Finally.
How did you guys meet?
Scotty, you want to tell the courting?
I mean, as most of you know, I started caddying for Derek Gillespie when he was kind of playing the Canadian Tour, and I found a real passion and a real joy in doing it. It kind of snowballed, and I met another guy and worked for him on the Nationwide Tour, and spent a couple years out there. And I ended up doing a few events overseas in Australia and New Zealand for Brandt, because the gentleman I was working for wasn't in. And that was at the beginning of the year. I guess it was 7 years ago now. And
where was that yesterday?
or the day before. But I worked a couple events for Brandt and then came back to start our season on the Nationwide Tour, and we hooked up in the middle of the summer. And our personalities, we got along very well, and the rest is history, really. You know, we've had some pretty good runs here in the last 7 years. It's been enjoyable.
Murray? Charlotte?
That's for Brandt. Dream threesome. You can play dead or alive.
Dream threesome, dead or alive. Arnold Palmer would have to be in there, just because of what he meant to the game, what a great ambassador he is for the game of golf. Pretty unbelievable. I think my third would have to be my dad. Tech in with me to do that. And he's a big reason why I'm here where I am. You know, he kind of gave me the avenue. This is great for all you parents out there that have kids that want to play golf. My dad never pushed me to play. He just gave me the opportunity if I wanted to go play. We'd go play together. He'd take me. He'd find a way to give me the golf course. He'd do whatever. I owe him a lot because he made it available to me. This is my summer camp. Was going to the golf course every day, practicing. I'm sure you'll have kids or some of these guys here today the same way. That's the best thing he ever did for me was just give me the opportunity to go play and then never being complacent. Never. His biggest thing for me growing up was never to quit. If he ever saw me quit on a golf course or give up, he wouldn't let me go the next day. So made me realize how to fight and how to keep playing. And you can't, see so many guys on tour that don't have that. That's a huge quality to have.
Andy Schwab, do you have a question?
Yeah, just following on in your earlier talk about your next shot has got to be your best one. Occasionally, some of us get into all of a sudden 3 or 4 shots in a row start to go bad.
Yeah. You've got to have.
And now, okay, the next shot being the best one isn't going to work for me. Is there anything else?
No, it will. It will. Your next one's going to be your worst. It will be. Trust me. You keep doing the same thing over and over and keep thinking poorly, it's going to keep producing poor results.
Yeah.
I've got a friend on tour right now who's struggling to keep his card. He's 120, 118 on the money list right now. He's going to have to make one of the last 2 cuts. So it's a very tough position to be in.
Yeah.
And he's missed probably his last 6 cuts in a row. And he's waiting for something bad to happen.
Yeah.
And you all see all y'all shaking your head. You're waiting for that first bad thing to happen, aren't you?
Yep.
guess what? It's going to happen. But if you wait for something good to happen, it's amazing what happens. Because every once in a while you get that good break that you need. Over the weekend, it's all I was waiting for. Just wait for something good to happen. I want to wait for something bad to happen. I wait for something good to happen.
Thank you, Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Wait for something good to happen.
It's funny, Friday, Brandt had some really bad breaks on the, he played really good on Friday, the second round, and had some really bad breaks on a couple of the par fives where they were literally 4 shots difference. And, you know, and he, to his credit, he did an unbelievable job of birding.
He won't tell you what I said walking down a couple of those fairways.
You have to put earmuffs on. But he did an unbelievable job. You know, he got some bad breaks, and it was huge. He would have been, you know, 9 or 10 under easily, and right in the thick of things. And you know, you just got to keep going because you're going to get your good break. And you know, we arrive at the course on Saturday, and you know, we all of a sudden we birdie, you know, 4 of our first 6 holes, and then Hunter Mayhem pulls out, and all of a sudden now we're right back in the tournament. So I mean, that was obviously an extreme example of getting, you know, a fortuitous break. But you just got to keep plugging away and plodding along because you know you're going to get some good stuff going.
Jake, did you have a question?
Yeah. What does a typical day of practice look like for you during an off week?
During an off week, okay. I'll tell you what it used to be and what it is now. When I was first on tour, and nationwide tour, that kind of stuff, I was every day, all day long. Now, and it was good and bad. It's good because I got a lot of reps in and really worked on my short, really great for my short game and my wedge game. Bad because I practiced myself into bad habits. Spend enough time on the range hitting balls and all that kind of stuff. You're going to practice yourself into bad habits, even if you're hitting good. So that was a big mistake I made early on in my career. Now, because I have injury problems, you know, I've had 2 hip surgeries, I've had rib problems, I've got all kinds of stuff that kind of, I have to be very smart about how I practice. So I'm very, very light on my practice now. I make my practice count. So if I go out there for a typical off week, you know, I might take, if I'm coming off a stretch where I played, I might take Monday, Tuesday completely off, maybe even Wednesday, and just spend time with the family, be home, get rested, and you know, end up again on Thursday, and just do, you know, a couple hours here or there, find the areas. You know, the biggest thing pros are really good at is we find the areas that we're not playing well at, and that's what we practice. Most people, if you're a really good ball striker, I guarantee you come here first. You're going to feel good about yourself. So you come here and hit balls. Well, if I'm struggling with my ball striking, I come here. If I'm struggling with my putting, I go there. We find the areas that we're bad at, and we go work on that. Because if you're good at something, it's going to show up, and you really need to work on your weaknesses more so.
Why did you change hats?
Why did I change the hats? Well, two reasons. One, I'm starting to get sunburn on top of my head because I'm losing my hair a little bit. So that's a little disconcerting. Second reason was, I got to change it up because I hadn't been getting good breaks lately. I felt like, so I was like, so I'll try a hat. You know, I wear hats all the time at home. Visors have become my stick, I guess. I'm kind of associated with it now. Well, I got to start changing it up at some point. So I thought I'd change it up this week, and now that I won with it, I'm going to start learning a lot more.
Anybody else from the crowd?
Are very many pros superstitious?
Yes, superstitious. Pros are very superstitious. I'm a little superstitious, not horribly superstitious, but a little bit. If I won't change a ball until I make a bogey with it. So I played the same ball all around on Saturday. I feel like every ball's only got 1 bogey in it, so you need to get it out of there after you have a bogey with it. The ball on Saturday was pretty raggedy by the time we got done. I always mark balls quarter from 60s. I think those are the only 2 things I'm really superstitious about. Anything else superstitious about?
Probably more me being superstitious than
you. Yeah, exactly. Some pros are extremely superstitious, some pros aren't. I kind of got to the point now where I realize superstition probably aren't a good thing, because if I show up to the course one day and I don't have a quarter from 60s, I'm really going to let that ruin my day. I'm really going to be out there worried about that all day. That's happened a couple times, so I've kind of learned to get over it a little bit.
So does that mean you'll come back here next time it's at...
Yes, it does. Yeah, I'll be back here, yes.
What's in the bag?
What's in the bag? Okay.
Looks like he's got too many clubs here, guys. Hope they didn't notice that yesterday.
Big believer in 4 wedges, okay, for tour players. So the majority of where I make birdies are from 150 and in. So I carry 4 wedges. So I carry a 47, 51, 55, and a 60. That, takes me from 95 to 140. That's kind of my scoring area. That's where I call it making my money. That's where I get up and down. That's where I save those shots. So to do that,
I'm going to show you, this is where he makes his money.
Yeah. The putter, I've been putting the same putter for 7 years. I'm a firm believer in not changing, because when you start changing putters a lot, you're adding variables into why you're missing putts. So why would you do that? If you're missing putts, it's not because of the putter, it's because of you. So practice with what you got and learn how to use it. I don't carry a 3-iron, so to carry 4 wedges, I take something else out somewhere else. So I carry a 4-iron, I go to a hybrid. Everybody should have hybrids. Most tour players don't have 3-irons in their bag. So if you got 3-iron in your bag and you don't play for a living, what are you doing? Okay? Get a hybrid. It's way easier to hit, makes us look a lot better than we really are, and they're very, 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 very good. So I carry a 4-iron through. 4-iron goes about 215, hybrid goes 225, 230. Got 3-wood, carry it about 245, 250, and driver. I'm experimenting with a new driver right now, so I've got 2 in there. I actually switched drivers on Sunday, went back to my old one. This one's a little crooked. It's a little longer, but it's a little crooked. I thought it was the driver, I think it was me. I still miss the fairways with my old one too. And that's kind of, I've literally had this set up for 2.5 years. Hybrid's been in recently, 3-wood's been in for 1.5 years. Driver's been in for 2 years. I just don't change very often, so I only change it significantly better.
Don't change it if it's not broken, right?
Correct. Correct.
Your basic swing, has it been the same since you were?
No, the swing's changed a ton. I've got a great teacher. I've got a guy named Caddy Anderson, Sea Island, Georgia's worked with me since 2006, 2005, and he's a big part of my team. And so he's helped me a lot. If I showed you video of my first swing when I went and saw him to now, you'd be shocked. It was pretty ugly. And he's helped me kind of refine what I do, kind of understand what I do, and now it's kind of we're at a maiden stage. We still work on little stuff here and there, but I'm not going to reinvent the wheel now. I'm not going to try to be like Tiger and reinvent my swing. And it's just not who I am. And to be honest with you, I don't have the time, and my body can't put up with it. So this is kind of the way I swing it. I'm just trying to refine it, get a little bit better here and there.
How long did it take you for your hip to recover? I just had mine done about 10 weeks ago, so I'm hoping we're going to.
Mine was 12 weeks, but I was in rehab for 7 hours a day, so I didn't mess around with it. The biggest thing getting over hip surgeries is the rehab, because it's really painful and it stinks and it's no fun and it's tedious and complete pain in the butt, but it works. I've had both my hips scoped and shaved bone off and all that kind of stuff. And, they're a lot better now, and but it took me about 12 weeks to get back to where I could play again. Probably more like 16 weeks before I felt 100%.
Matt, could I get a question over here from one of our young lads?
Yeah.
When you're at for practice round, what are you looking for on the golf course?
Practice round, what am I looking for on the golf course? I'm looking, biggest thing in practice round you got to find out is, I'm out there trying to get used to the rough around the greens, how the ball's chipping out of it, comes out fast, comes out dead, that kind of stuff, where to miss it on every hole. And you got to identify, there's going to be 3 or 4 holes in a golf course that are going to be the tough holes. They'll be what I call pivotal holes. So you need to have a clear game plan of what you're going to do. You've got to realize that these pivotal holes aren't just hard for you, they're hard for everybody. So if you have a game plan of what you want to do on those 4 holes, say, hey man, I feel really terrible off this tee, I don't like this tee shot, I'm just going to get in the fairway here, I might be a little farther back, but I know over, this is, after being a pro for a long time, I figure out, course of 4 days, if I play, so the 14th hole, for example, this week I'm going to have the hole I hated. So over the course of 4 days, if I play this hole 2 over par, I'm not going to lose that much to the field. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but I realize that 14 is a very tough hole. People are going to be hitting the water off the tee. I don't like it, so it gives me some relief saying, you know what, it's okay if I bogey it one day. So I find those holes in the golf course, and you're playing really tough, come up with a good game plan on them, give myself a realistic goal of doing that, and then try to execute it. So that's a big thing I've been practicing. And the other thing is green speeds. Get used to greens. Making sure I know how the putts are breaking, the speed of them, that kind of stuff.
Hey, Brandt.
Just timing is a little tough for us today. I know
Yep.
Brandt and Scott both have to hit the road. We have time for one more question. Sorry, do I have Harry?
Just a quick tip on weight transfer.
Weight transfer. I equate it to throwing a baseball. You all throw a baseball. If you're going to do anything in golf, I think you got to get, there's this new move to stay on top of the golf ball or stay on the left side. I don't really believe in that. I think to do anything athletically, you have to get behind it. I feel like at address, I'm pretty much 50-50, maybe a little bit more on my right side, if anything. And then as I take it back, I mean, it's 90% of my weight, 95% of my weight's in my right leg, my right butt, my right quad. That's where all my weight's going to. And then as I transfer down, everything's kind of moving that way to 100% on my left side. So an easy way to look at it is look where your divots are. If you look where your divots are, that's kind of where your weight is. So if you're taking divots way back here, all your weight's on your back foot. So if you're catching balls heavy a lot, or you're coming in the balls, you're taking divots back there, that's where your weight is. Your weight's gonna, your swing's gonna bottom out where your weight is. So look where your divots are and try to time that with where the ball is. That's what I feel like as I go back. I mean, there's a great drill called a step drill. I do this, did it every once in a while. I feel like you kind of pull your, kind of step that way. So as I go back, my left foot comes back, make sure my right's fully loaded. And then as I go down, I step with my left. By that stepping, all my weight kind of goes with it. Try to hit one for you. So it's a good way of getting the feeling of that weight moving back and forth. It feels like you're swaying, but it's a good general idea of how your weight should move in the golf swing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brandt.
Thanks,
Scott.
guys. Appreciate it.
For the Golf Club staff and members, thanks a lot for taking the time to come out here today. It means a lot to us. We've been excited about this for some time. Then you pull off yesterday, both of you, which just, I didn't sleep a lot last night, to be honest with you. I have the 8-month-old, but mostly because I was pretty excited to see you guys out here. So, I think many of us here feel the same way. The members that have come out to see this today, thank you very much for coming out and supporting. That's great. As we had mentioned, kind of in email circulation, we're going to try to give these two guys the day out there on the golf course on their own. Trying to enjoy a day on a golf course without a big crowd around. Probably be nice. For the participants that are playing in the event, we are going to get a shot. We're hoping to get golf started within about 15 to 20 minutes, but we want to get a picture with each group. We're just going to meander down to the 6th tee here, get a picture with every group. Then they'll start to head out onto the golf course, and we'll hopefully get started just prior to 9 o'clock. We'll be hitting the ball, and be about 3.5 hours, and we'll be back in for some lunch. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming out.